Okay guys, so for our first video, we will be comparing the Glock 17 and the 1911. Bakit pre? Ano meron?
Problema tayo, yung caliber kalayo, tsaka magkaiba yung magazine capacity ng
Ito lang yung baril ko eh.
wala na bang mahiraman?
Wala eh.
Magkano siguro?
Paano gagawin yun?
Kaya mo bumili bago?
Tagal pa yun. I-reshoot tayo.
Rick, reshoot daw.
Ay, tayo. Sige. Sige. Okay guys, so we're back and now we have the Rock Island Armory TAC Ultra high cap in 9mm and we will be comparing it with the Glock 17. And so why are we comparing these two pistols? Well, in the case of the Glock 17, according to Trust Trade, they have delivered over 160,000 Glock 17 pistols to both the AFP and the PNP. On the other hand, for the Rock Island Armory, they recently won a contract back in 2018 to produce over 60,000 of these pistols. The AFP ordered 45 ACP variants of this pistol. However, for this review, we will be using the 9mm variant in order to make this a fair comparison with the Glock 17. So I guess it's safe to assume that these two pistols are the most common sidearms currently in use by both our armed forces and law enforcement agencies. So for those of you civilians who want to get in on the action, we will discuss both the pros and cons of each pistol so to help you decide on which one to get. And so to start off, let's discuss the similarities between these two pistols. These pistols are considered full-size pistols by their respective manufacturers. Glock calls it the standard frame for their Glock 17. Armscore calls it the FS, or for full size, for this particular 1911. Both handguns have rails on the front in order for you to mount a weapon light, which I think is mandatory if you are going to use these handguns for self-defense. Also, both handguns have a 17-round capacity for 9mm. And now for our first difference between these two pistols, and that is the trigger. So for the Glock 17, it is a polymer striker-fired handgun. If I were to describe the trigger of this handgun, it would be a long and mushy trigger. So it has almost 10mm of pre-travel before you hit that wall, and then the trigger breaks. So it's because of this long and mushy trigger, shooters have a tendency to shoot Glocks low left. And now for the 1911, which arguably has one of the best triggers out there. So it's a single action trigger, which has a very minimal take-up, around 2mm. You hit that wall, and if I were to describe this trigger, it has a very crisp break. So all those factors combined helps for a more accurate shot. And we will see the results in our accuracy test right now. And so for our first test, we will be testing the accuracy of these two pistols. We've set up two targets at 15 feet. And we will be shooting headshots at a slow pace to check for accuracy. And so as you can see from our testing, the 1911 had a significantly tighter grouping, and we can attribute that to the single action trigger. On the Glock, the other hand, all shots made it. However, it was a significantly wider pattern. And so for our next test, we will be doing a build drill, which is shooting 6 rounds center mass, and we'll be comparing both the time and the groupings of each pistol. Ready. Ready. Okay. Ready. Yeah. 1911 with a Glock 70. And so as you can see in our rapid fire test, the 1911, due to its weight, has less felt recoil, and it also has less muzzle flip, which is why I was able to shoot it faster and also have a tighter grouping compared to the Glock. So for rapid fire, the 1911 wins. So when it comes to practicing with your preferred pistol, proficiency comes at the cost of thousands of rounds behind that particular firearm. And in order to save on this training, people tend to use reloads, and we have encountered a problem when using reloads with Glocks. Okay, so I want to show you guys one of the issues with Glocks, and it's they will not accept out of spec ammunition. So here's a round that what we would consider as buntis, and we'll try to load it in our Glock 17 now. Okay, so as you can see here, the Glock is out of battery, and under these conditions, the gun will not fire. And I'll have to force it out. Okay, so we'll use the same bullet and use it on the 1911. And it fires just fine. And that's the thing with Glocks. One of its disadvantages is very picky with ammo. And so when it comes to practicing with your Glocks, make sure that you always bring your bullet gauge, or you can bring your own reloads to the range in order to ensure reliable feeding of your firearm. And now for safeties, the 1911 has two external safeties. That is the thumb safety right here and the grip safety. And so both safeties need to be deactivated in order for the firearm to go off. And for me, this is a disadvantage, especially for newer shooters, because I have been to several classes where students have failed to disengage their safeties. And in a self-defense situation, this could prove fatal. Also, under rapid firing, if you were to loosen up your grip safety could become activated and thereby your pistol will not fire. So if you do choose to carry a 1911 for self-defense, always ensure that you have a positive grip on the firearm and always ensure that your thumb is over the thumb safety just to ensure that it will always be disengaged. And so to compare the emergency reloads of these two pistols, we will be doing a one-shot reload and then one-shot drill to see the speed at which we can reload these handguns. Ready? Stand by. 225. Stand by. 214. Stand by. 217. Stand by. 269. Stand by. So far, the 1911 has been winning, but for this category, I think Glock has this one. And when it comes to reloading, what I like about the Glock is that I can access my controls without having to break my grip. So the magazine release, so full firing grip, I can access the magazine release without breaking my grip. I can release the slide lock without breaking my grip, and that would lead to a faster emergency reload. So when your gun goes dry, you just take a new mag and your gun is ready. Compared to the 1911, so I have my full firing grip here. I can't reach the magazine release and the slide release. So if I were to reload this firearm, I will have to break my grip, release the magazine, insert a new one, and then I would have to use my support hand to chamber that round and then fire. And during our testing, I was about 0.3 seconds slower when it comes to reloading with the 1911. So if you think that that additional 0.3 seconds matters for you, then I would encourage you to get a Glock. So for our final thoughts, which handgun should you get? So if you're looking for a handgun for concealed carry, I would recommend the Glock 17. Because of its polymer frame, it is very light, so you can carry it all day, every day. And the lack of external safeties makes it beginner friendly. Also, the lack of a hammer means that it is less prone to snagging on your clothing or inside your bag. So it really ensures a very quick draw. So it's good for concealed carry. And if you think that the Glock trigger isn't for you, and if you prefer that shorter trigger pull, that lighter trigger pull, then the 1911 is for you. Just remember that there are added steps to your draw stroke. Always remember to deactivate that safety. Also, the 1911 is a bigger and heavier gun, which does help when it comes to recoil and muzzle flip, but makes it unappealing when it comes to everyday carry. And ultimately, the choice is up to you. Hopefully, you take these factors into heart, and hopefully, it helps you in your choice.